I'm Serge Nguele. This is SEO in 2025 Additional Insight.
Serge, what's your additional insight for SEO in 2025?
Oh, my additional insight, I will start with kind of a story, a dream. I've been doing PPC for 15 years, and over all those 15 years, it has been a big dream to make SEO and PPC work, but I must reckon that never happened. So the insight I'm bringing in 2025 would be a big dream, the sort of Martin Luther King, I have a dream. So I have a dream that in 2025, SEO and PPC would be hand in hand working together to really harness the power of synergy. And I will develop a bit more.
So harness the power of synergy. You also talk about crafting your brand story with precision and impact using both SEO and PPC. So how do both different marketing mediums assist with crafting your brand story?
Okay. So on that one, I think, we need to really start with, we'll focus on Google. They are having 92% of the search market. So what Google want to achieve? What's Google mission? So Google mission, since they've been, and that's why they are so successful, mission number one is to really make sure they provide the best search service in the world, to provide searcher with the most relevant information they are searching. That's most relevant. And even they are reminding this whenever they do algorithm update, they really remind that they work to improve the quality on search result by showing content that people will find genuinely useful. And that's really important. Content people will find genuinely useful that has a brand, command to be authentic. So how do you present yourself? There are multiple choices. So how do you stand out? And that's what I'm talking about, being original into how you present yourself to user.
So being original. So does this mean that you need to ensure that your PPC ads are original and different as well, and that they align with what you're trying to achieve, what you publish on your organic pages?
Okay. So with this, it's really start with defining your value as a brand. So what do you stand for? And also identifying your user, what's your ideal persona, what do you want them to remind you for?
Well, okay, that's two massive steps there. So then you can run your own PPC agency then. So when you have a conversation with a brand initially, do you first of all ask them, what is your brand value? And if they look at you strangely and they can't answer that question, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the conversation we are having. Well, they will still say something because it's really a powerful question, to try to understand what a brand stands for. They will say something, and if ever they look at me strangely, then then I will guide them.
How do you guide them? What questions do you ask them?
Okay, guiding them it's to make sure, because when we are out there, we are competing against others. So really to make them aware that it's starting from them, but it's not about them. It's about the user. How are they perceived out there? So a kind of reverse psychology. So what do you want to be remembered for?
So if a brand isn't that aware of how they're perceived, do you do some audience research to begin with? Do you do some competitor research? Do you see what maybe review sites are saying about the brand before putting together your PPC strategy?
Yeah, exactly. So PPC, really, before getting into the technicality of PPC, we need to have that right. Otherwise, who would we be advertising for? So that's really coming back to it. What I can do if ever they are struggling would be, what usually I would ask them would be, okay, could you, by order of importance, choose 20 keywords you would like to be on top position? And when they come with those keywords, I can run my keyword research and identify who are the competitors, what they are offering. And then I will present that back to them. Okay, telling them, you might not know, but for the keyword you want to be on top position, this is the reality on the search result page. And then they could use competition as an inspiration. That's how competition could also essentially be used to empower, a brand.
So that's a good point. So a client may wish to be appearing for certain keyword phrases, both organically and using paid search, but they're not necessarily selecting the right keyword phrases that are most appropriate for them and the keyword phrases that are right for their brand. So then you use their opinion as a starting point for discussion to determine what the keywords actually should be. And they're not necessarily going to be the keywords that the client provided to you to begin with.
Yes, exactly. So again, saying really it's important to define what they stand for and also who they are targeting. That's really, I would say, a prerequisite for a successful PPC campaign, or even, a marketing campaign. Because once we have it right, we know, okay, this is what we stand for. This is who we want to target. Then it's making it easy to build a bridge and to reach out to the right audience. That will be also as we go minimizing all the wastage on spend. Yeah.
What's the difference between doing keyword research for paid search versus keyword research for SEO?
With those one, they will be serving the same purpose, because at the end of the day, it's a matter of reaching out to the right audience.
So do you want to try and use the same landing pages then for paid search and SEO?
Sometimes that could be the case, not necessarily. In some instances, we would be recommending to have a specific landing page for paid. And there again, it will be depending on the strategy, at which phase they are, what they want to do. If we come back into the awareness phase, for example, at this point, we are not trying to convert. We want just a user to remind us later on when they are in a position to make a decision. And for that, it will be, would recommend to use the same landing page and even the same keyword to make sure if organically we are not high on the ranking, to use SEO PPC, which is fairly quick, to be on top, and also combining and win more real estate, because at the end of the day, people are clicking what they prominently see.
Can you talk a little bit about the software, the tools that you use to do what you do?
To do what I do, Google is quite developed, Google and Bing, but let's focus on Google. They have the keyword planner, which they have revamped most recently. So keyword planner is fairly good to really know about a website. So you can use it at URL level or using a few thematic, and it will come with all the possibilities of keyword. Now, if you want to go more granular, we have Ask the Public. There are a few other tools. But in all fairness, I'm not making it any complicated. Google has, they are so vastly rich with their tools. So it's more than enough to start from.
What lessons can SEOs learn from PPC?
What less? Well, so yeah, it's about collaboration between the two, because when we look at how it's working, it's about the user experience, and that user experience, if it has a common goal, it will be powerful for the marketing as a whole. The two channels are different. So yeah, SEO, it's really there to set the foundation, and PPC is fairly quick because you pay, and then you can, for whichever keyword you decide to advertise on, you can win top position. And the learning between the two channels would be for SEO to give room for PPC to boost wherever they are weak. So that's mean, if the competition is high on certain keyword, they can use PPC.
Okay, so that's where collaboration is key, knowing where organic can rank and where it can't. Does this mean that when organic is ranking position number 1, that paid search shouldn't be bidding on those keywords?
On this one, could be, but essentially when working together, because what would happen if the two channels are not communicating between them? That means you could be really high on organically and also spending quite a lot on PPC. The only instance this could be relevant, it's for brand term, because for your brand, you want to make sure really you have 100% real estate on search result pages. So that means you will be high organically, and you want also to be high on PPC. However, apart from that scenario, it will be really being efficient with your investment. So PPC would be more useful to complement where SEO is struggling. We know that SEO, it's taking longer to have the results we want them to achieve. That can only be possible if the two channels are communicating.
So is it reasonable to say something like, okay, what we'll do, we're not ranking organically for these keyword phrases. We'll give this campaign to PPC for 6 months. And then after that, we'll have a 6-month strategy to build up our organic position for these terms, and then take a view to switch off the paid campaign after that.
100%, David. So that's the way to go. Again, as I'm saying, it's not SEO against PPC or PPC against SEO. So it's really, okay, as a brand, where do we want to go? And if we are starting, of course, we won't be ranking high. So there, PPC would be helping to gather more data. So it could be a strategic investment. Okay, PPC, we have more users coming to the website, and that would inform us even across all the division of the brand. That means, okay, when those users are coming, how are they behaving on the landing page? And after certain periods, let's say 3 to 6 months, all those data, we will analyze them and really map out the user journey. And from that point, it will be possible to craft a proper strategy and even review the website according to the data we are gathering and how users are behaving when they come on the website.
If an SEO is struggling for time, what should they stop doing right now so they can spend more time doing what you suggest, working with PPC in 2025?
With this, I point out, so one thing they could stop doing is really focusing on keyword stuffing for 2 reasons. The first one is that this is really outdated. Google search engine algorithm are so powerful and they can detect that, so it's a pure waste of time. And secondly, we have with AI, and also the way people are searching online has massively developed. Long-tail keywords are the norm, and even conversational queries are the norm with AI. People are not necessarily typing old-fashioned one word keyword or maximum 2. So it's conversational. That means need to really focus on user intent. That's the word, instead of rather than on keyword solely.
Serge Nguele is founder at Your PPC Doctor, and you can find him over at yourppcdoctor.com. Serge, thanks so much for adding your additional insight to SEO in 2025.
Thank you for having me, David. And hopefully, catch up soon.
I've been your host, David Bain, and you've been listening to SEO in 2025 Additional Insights, a Majestic series that complements the original podcast, video series, and book. Find out more at SEOin2025.com.